All right, so we're going to talk about present value in this video. And present value, there's a couple of ways of thinking about it. As for the purposes of this section, we'll mostly think about it a specific way, but I'll talk about it another way as well. So remember, right, that the amount in an account when we initially invest P dollars at interest rate R is given like this, okay? And another way of rearranging this is, okay, this right here, right, says I'm investing P. How much am I going to have after a certain amount of time? Sometimes we want to flip the question and say, what if I want this money in the future? How much do I have to invest now? Okay, so sometimes we want to solve for P. So if we solve for P, we divide both sides by e to the RT. Then on the right-hand side, right, it cancels. And we're left with P is equal to A divided by e to the RT. E to the RT is on the denominator. Denominator is negative exponent. Okay, so this is a formula we can use for the present value. Another way to think about present value is that if I have 1,000, if I asked you, I said, let's say you're some sort of investor, and I say, would you rather have $1,000 today or $1,000 5 years from now? There's a lot of reasons you'd say you'd want $1,000 today. One of them is that $1,000 is worth more today, both because of inflation and because we can invest it. If you're not planning on using the $1,000 today, you still don't want it 5 years from now, because even if you weren't using it today, you could invest it, and that $1,000 is going to grow. So $1,000 in the future, we can use this formula to find out what is that $1,000 worth today. Okay, so there's a lot of ways of thinking about present value. We're really only going to very briefly touch it here, but that's sort of what's going on. So let's do an example. Suppose that you want to invest so that you have $5,000 in 2 years, and you're investing at a 12% interest rate. So you know that you have some sort of investment, and you're pretty confident that you're going to be able to invest it at 12%. All right, and the question is, how much do you need to invest today so that you do have that $5,000 in 2 years? Okay, so we're just going to use that formula. All right, that the present value is equal to the amount that we want times e to the negative r, our interest rate t. Well, we want $5,000 at an interest rate of 12%. Do not forget to make r a decimal, or I will get very angry with you. I will start shouting while I'm grading your quiz on that audio recording. And we want this after 2 years. There we go. We just plug it in. All right. And if we plug it in, we get an answer. Type it into our calculator. 5,000 times e raised to negative 0.12 times 2. And you're going to get 3933.14. So if we invest this amount of money right now, then in 2 years, we'll have $5,000. Or another way of thinking about this, right, is how much in 2 years, how much is $5,000 2 years from now? How much is that worth today to us if we are going to invest it in this situation? Okay, if we weren't going to invest, then R would just be inflation. Okay, and then we can see, because again, the same amount of money today is worth more money in the future. Okay, provided we're investing and we're not just like burying it in our backyard. If we're burying it in our backyard, well, then there's still the inflation thing. But anyway, that's sort of what the relationship is. $3,900 right now in this situation is worth about $5,000 in 2 years. Okay, have at it.